Lazybear versus Platikqs. I'm going to talk about Platikqs a little bit first because they had a bit of a rocky road on the way in here. It was a spooky group stages for good Sir Platikqs as he got one win and two draws in his group stage. So it was a scary situation. Luckily, Pofke cleaned up, so was able to get in with just the 5 points.
Yeah, and Plastics actually was coming on. So SpyParty Competitive League is our annual, or slightly more than annual, competitive league, in addition to these cups that run every so often. Now, Plastics played SCL4, which was the previous one, but he hadn't played competitively since then. So it seemed like he was knocking off a bit of rust going into the group stages. But since then, he's come out very strong. Looking at the playoffs, he defeated yours truly in the first round, and then knocked off Yerend, who many people predicted had a very good shot at winning this whole thing.
Yeah, a win against Yerend is absolutely huge. That's the kind of thing that I like. Credit the Plastiqs. He's a great player, but Yerend, I think, is the defending champion 2 years running or something like that. So he was definitely a favorite to go a long way here. Very, very strong player. But yeah, Plastiqs, quite clearly no slouch himself. Pretty, very, very respectable sniper win rate in particular.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's been a very, very solid player this entire tournament. His early potential missteps notwithstanding. I can attest to that, obviously, since otherwise I would be playing in this matchup, maybe would be playing in this matchup, not talking about it.
Absolutely. The other character in this particular story is Lazybear, and man, oh man, Lazybear has been putting up some numbers. The man absolutely smashed through his challenger stage, his group stage, if you will, with 3 wins on the board over Mr. High, Turnout 8 as well, and Kuma Kid. So,
Oh, but you're underselling it by saying he went 3-0. He only lost 2 games total, as in 2 single games in the entire group stages. And he's gone on from there to best that by losing 1 game total in the playoffs thus far. He's had an incredible run, and his form has been incredible this entire time. Frankly, Lazybear is terrifying, and he has all the momentum on his side. So Lazybear is definitely the favorite going into this, but given that Plastiqs has already shown that he can win very, very handily as the underdog, I'm excited to see what happens here.
yeah, absolutely. Lazybear on a huge tear right now, but Plastiqs has been getting them upsets, and it's been a joy to watch them both. And now they meet each other here, and there's money on the line. So,
of course, it is worth noting that the winner of this match goes on to face Crazy Kaylee in the semifinals.
And that is one of the most difficult matches you can possibly get on this bracket, or really any bracket, because Kaylee's a monster.
I mean, he's known as the final boss of SpyParty for a reason. So, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. First, we have to see who comes out of this one.
And the match format for the quarterfinals, for those of you who are unaware, it's 6 maps of regulation. 2 games on each one is each side. Aquarium 4 of 8 is where we start things off, followed by Pub 3 of 5, Tayan 4 of 8, Library 5 of 8, Modern 5 of 8, and Courtyard 4 of 7. If we're still tied after all that, it goes to 3 maps of extra time, and if we're still tied after all that, sudden death balcony until we find a winner. But we will cross that bridge when we get to it. I don't think we have anything else standing in our way. So we may as well just get on into this, starting things off in Aquarium.
Yep, ready when you are.
Lazybear opening on the spy side, Platikqs on the sniper. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. Lazybear looks like he's going to track down the seduction target to open up the match, and indeed he will. It's a green test on the flirt for 51%.
Yep, it's always a good start, especially when you don't have anything immediate to do with a hard tail right off the bat. It's always nice to get that first flirt off and go from there.
Very by the book so far, kind of eyeing up the ambassador and the double agent, that side of the venue a little bit, but otherwise, just generally hanging out with the seduction target, maybe looking for a timer flirt, and taking things slow.
Yeah, getting that first green flirt gives you a lot of freedom to hopefully timer flirt and maybe get a 2 flirt and then not have to worry about getting flirt paired the rest of the way. Seduction target bails on us, but we're just going to chase.
And we hit the green for the 2 flirt as well.
Yep, so on Aquarium, as a 4 of 8, that gives you a lot of options. With 3 whole minutes left to go, you still have 3 missions left to complete, but so much freedom in how to do them.
Yep, still 3 minutes left to play, so pretty quick flirt getting done. Now stepping over to the conversation with the double agent and the ambassador. So with a lot of people in conversations, you would expect to see a contact, and here it does come off.
Banana bread.
Bit of a long delay between the action test and the contact itself, so a couple of people stepping out. That'll give us 4, I believe, lowlights, which is not terrible.
No, absolutely not. And it doesn't really look like we have a lot of suspicion from that, even though we had kind of stepped in, took the banana bread immediately. But looks like Platikqs just sort of still eyeing down the party, and we picked up a lot of highlights in the other conversation circle with the SDA.
Yeah, that was the big one where most of the people were in with the SDA. So that's the one that Platikqs highlight for reals, although luckily Lazybear was in the other one and did not get highlight at all. Under 2 minutes to play now with 2 missions on the table. No fingerprints or inspect, so no progress in that direction. No hard tells done yet. Where do we go from here, Sped Monkey?
Well, that's the question, and time's starting to run down a little bit. We have no partial mission progress and nothing to do, so people generally say that bug is fairly free on Aquarium if you can get a good one behind the shark. So I would expect that we're going to go for a bug, and we're stepping in the bar now, so maybe we're going to go for a purloin, but it's hard to say what Lazybear has in mind.
Well, it's possible, and honestly, anything is possible with the shark on this map. If you can get a good tuck-in behind him, you can get away with a lot, but with 1 minute and 15 left to play, time is starting to run down. The ambassador's not going to play nice and give us any free behind the back bug, so I think it's going to have to be a delegate here, but with our positioning, it might be to a suspected double agent, and indeed it is. This could either be great or terrible, depending on if Platikqs catches this.
Yeah, a lot of snipers don't pay as much attention when a cast member is at the bar. So it's entirely possible that Platikqs will miss the delegate until after it's gone off and not really be sure of who sent it off. But we'll have to see how he reacts if and when it actually comes off. But it looks like we're stepping in here and going for a bug.
So much more clear, but the wrong arm bug coming across behind the shark. The purloin comes off at more or less the same time. The timing is perfect, and Lazybear picks up game number 1.
That was just such a smooth game.
I am so impressed on the timing of that. Goes for the delegate at a perfect time when the shark is on its way over. Doesn't actually show up in time to cover for the list, but definitely covers for the bug.
Yeah, and the way he timed it too, the bug came off just as the list disappeared. So as Platikqs, if Platikqs even saw it, as he was trying to figure out who had sent the delegate, time just ran out.
Beautiful, beautiful spy play coming out of Lazybear, and you really don't want to have the pressure on your spy to open up the game, but that's the position Platikqs is in. Let's see if he can answer back in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yep, Platikqs sitting in here on Ponytail or Alice, depending on how you prefer to call her. But the nice thing is, on Aquarium, it's a map that a clever spy can do a whole lot on this map. We've seen that already in this tournament, and as Aquarium gets more and more played and even better known, I expect to see a lot more, even more impressive plays as we go.
Heck, we've seen that already in this match, as Plastiqs actually bails from the bar before even taking a delegate. Steps into statues for the first flirt for 51%, and a pair of inspects while we're at it.
Yeah, we pick up the rote highlight, but that probably doesn't mean too much. As we all know, many snipers tend to just take rote highlights for anyone who goes to inspect the statues.
And back into conversation next to the seduction target once more, seeing if we can get that coveted 2 flirt, but seduction target is not having it and steps away.
But we're still okay here. We have a lot of partial mission progress, 3 minutes on the clock, and we still have a lot of options in play, as I said. Aquarium gives you a lot of opportunity to make plays, so Plastiqs definitely still has plenty of opportunities here to get things sorted out.
In conversation with the double agent, the contact comes off. That's off 5 now lowlights. Oh, even more coming off as it's assumed real. That's everyone but 6 lowlit. 2 highlights, one of which is Plastiqs. Now picking up the briefcase for a fingerprint. So lots of partial progress, but the party narrowed way, way down.
Yeah, but we did hit the green fingerprint on that briefcase, so it's entirely possible that we might have gotten away with that, depending on how on things Lazybear was as far as the count on the briefcase goes.
Yeah, absolutely. It is not always easy to credit difficult fingerprints. A lot of people just won't. Green flirt coming off now, but from a bit of a distance, puts us at 78%. Lots and lots of progress. Means lots and lots of options, but still only 1 mission completion with 1:40 left to play.
Yeah, and that highlight is looming large now, with, as you said, about half the party with lowlights from that banana bread. I mean, Lazybear does tend to do a slightly more fluid highlight lowlight style, but still, this isn't great for us.
In an innocent conversation now, not where we want to be. We're going to have to start making moves pretty quickly, and it looks like we're going for a bug here. Nope, just a bug path. Doesn't fire the right click, but that, because of where the shark was, that's going to be a lot of suspicion on Plastiqs for a possible bug there as we step into the back now for the statues.
Yeah, and we walked in and left so quickly. That has to look very, very suspicious if you're Lazybear, especially with the bug path.
And the fingerprint coming in the back. Plastiqs has to be top suspect here. Fingerprint done. Inspect done. It almost looked like Lazybear was lining up a shot, and indeed he does take it. Has to assume that bug went off. And even though the flirt never did, that is going to be 2-0 for Lazybear.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much I love that play. I mean, it's a great idea in theory to get your inspect and your fingerprint done, but that assumes that the sniper isn't tracking the fingerprints, because otherwise that looks so suspicious.
Honestly, I think Plastiqs just lost track of the shark and didn't realize it was as suspicious as it was. Otherwise, probably would have fired the bug there.
Yeah, it's entirely possible that without looking at the bug, he thought that maybe he would get credit for taking the bug path but not taking the bug, but didn't realize that it was completely covered and he was being credited for it instead.
Either way, doesn't work out. And Plastiqs finds himself in an early hole, but now that we're starting to get into the later portions of the tournament, we have enough time to come back from a deficit like this. As Lazybear picks up the spiral once again, this time at pub. The Irene Adler in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And getting into the 3 of 5s, they tend to be a little bit more swingy. Not necessarily all the time, but more so than the 4 of 8s or 5 of 8s. So it's entirely possible that Plastiqs can pick up a couple wins here and even things up very, very quickly.
Generally speaking, if you're behind, a Softail variant is where you want to be. But really, it all comes down to player preference and what you're comfortable on.
Yeah, as you can see, we have swap and fingerprint keeping Purloin and Inspect on. I mean, Inspect is the standard for this venue because you only need 1, so many AIs will complete.
Very slow start from Lazybear, though, spurning the seduction target in favor of just being as inconspicuous as possible here. Doesn't want to have to chase her somewhere awkward. So, absolutely no progress so far.
No, but pub is also a venue. All the 305s really are ones where you can spend some time idling, just because of how small it is and how you only need 3 missions. So Lazy Bear is still in a good place here, assuming scoping out the party and seeing who might be frameable as well.
Absolutely. Finally, the seduction target enters into our conversation. Tired of being ignored, here comes the flirt. Worst flirt in the game, 17%. And it took us almost a minute and a half to get there.
Yeah, unless we start moving really, really quick, it's looking like this is going to be a frame game.
Under 2 minutes to play, flirtation cooldown is expired, luckily, as the seduction target is feeling frisky, doing a lot of moving.
Yeah,
But
and looking
Lazy
at the part.
Bear still playing this very, very slowly.
Yeah, I mean, Lazy Bear is probably scoping out the party as well. I mean, there are 4 highlights on the board, including our seduction target, who has been moving quite a bit. And we're making a move now. Let's see what we're going to end up doing. Looks like we're going to step in for a flirt again.
Another flirt. This one a close green to complement the far white. Brings us up to 68%. A close white at this point will finish it in 3, and we pick up a time ad while we're at the window.
Yep, a green one too. And it doesn't look like there's any reaction so far from Plastics on the sniper here, so it looks like we got away with that one clean as well.
Mid-game time ads, are often the most difficult to find. We do pick up a quick delegate from the bar on our way back out. Kind of flipping the camera between the double agent and the seduction target, winds up going for neither. Lazy Bear really taking his time.
Yeah, this has to be a frame, either to set up a delegate or waiting for somebody to step into the right conversation circle with a double agent to really set up the frame and sink the hook.
Yeah, I think it has to be just really scouting out the party, trying to see who is suspicious enough to do a frame job on. Time ad used to give people more time to
Banana bread.
do suspicious things. The fake contact coming off basically confirms it. Picked his target well, the shot comes off, and Lazy Bear picks up game number 3.
All that early movement from Hair or Oprah, Red Dress, whatever you want to call her, the seduction target, all that early movement clearly made her a big, big suspect. And when she stepped in and immediately the banana bread came off, that must have confirmed it in Plastic's mind.
Banana
Two
bread.
very strong and very different spy games coming out of Lazy Bear here. That is a scary look to go up against, especially when you're 3-0 down. But Plastiqs now has to find something of his own on the spy side. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Going down 3-0, especially as the underdog, is such a terrible feeling. But, Plastics has made comebacks already in this series, and he's hoping for another one here.
Plastiqs in the chat saying that Lazy Bear instantly apologized for the frame. But Plastiqs on the spy side doing a much more conventional opening, just chasing down that seduction target and picking up 51% on the flirt.
Yep, and we're in here at the conversation circle here with the double agent as well. If we choose to take the banana... Oh, never mind. Just kidding.
He decides to go for the briefcase instead. Sorry, Plastiqs, it's not happening right away. But it wasn't a great time for it anyways, with most of the party inside.
Nope, and the seduction target has stayed here, so if we choose to just go for a timer flirt, we could be in good shape, especially if we hit that green.
Yeah, this could absolutely be nice. Double Agent comes back to us as well, as by way of an apology.
Yep,
Still
the rest of the party is still
plenty
not
of time on the
cooperating.
clock.
No, the other conversation circles are basically empty, so now is not a great time. We do hit the green flirt, so with 2:20 left, we have Seduce done, we have Banana Bread in our pocket, and let's see what we do for our third mission.
Yeah, with 2 minutes and 15 left to play, Plastiqs has more progress than Lazy Bear got in his entire game, time ad included. Now stepping into the bar, looking to at least pick up the option of a delegate.
I was going to say, I think we were supposed to take that briefcase. I don't know if Lazy Bear noticed that or not. But if so, then that would definitely raise our suspicion level quite a bit here.
Plastiqs on the way back to the outside windows now. flirting across with the ambassador. Minute and 30 left to play. Where are the other missions coming from is the big question.
That is a very good question, and we're just stepping back into the bar here. Looks like we're just gonna go to windows. And what are we gonna do with ourselves here in this position, though?
Yeah, lots of time being spent here. Looks like we're stepping into the statues for an inspect and a lot of suspicion.
Yep, we take the immediate highlight for going. So we have 2 missions done, but one of them is the most obvious one. So you have to think that if we do a banana bread, we might be shot just immediately for it.
Yeah, Bar has been very quiet, so wisely decided not to take anything with the purloin. Also, the purloin is off. I just noticed that. No
Minor
purloin,
detail.
no swap.
Yeah, so our options are either take a banana bread, try and find a bug. We could have maybe taken the bounce bug there, but it would have looked pretty obvious, I think.
Yeah, I don't think that would have been a good time for the bug. Plastics can't get into the conversation. Finally finds a spot. Here's the contact coming off. Lots and lots of people in that conversation. I think Lazybear has to take the shot and finds the correct one. Lazybear not slowing down for a moment.
No, and if Plastics was at all suspicious before, then that bouncing around the conversation circle at the end must have confirmed it, because that just looked awful.
Yeah, absolutely. A full conversation is what you want to see when you're heading in for a contact, but not quite that full, as he had trouble even finding a way in. Made it very obvious in the process. It's 4-0 in Lazybear's favor right now as we head into Tayen. And Lazybear on the spy side of it in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Now, we have seen some clinics from Lazybear on the spy side so far, starting with a very, very fast green flirt with General.
We've seen a ton of green flirts already from both of these players. It's actually been very impressive, the green flirt rate.
Yeah, absolutely.
But stepping into Tayen here, obviously one of those maps that really tests a sniper's ability to take context clues and credit players for things because of how occluded things are. We have a general, a huge target as our seduction target. We have Taft, one of the largest character in the game, as our ambassador. So we're hoping to get away with a lot just from being hidden here, as always on Tayen.
Yeah, absolutely. The Sojis cover up so much, and even without them, there's a lot of cover just from the conversations. Very easy to get some sort of completely invisible bug by that the sniper just has to credit.
Yeah, we already picked up our second flirt as well, greening both of them, so we have flirt done already, which always a great feeling.
Absolutely. 2 minutes and 15 left to play. No longer have to worry about the flirt as we step into the green bookcase. Start seeing if we can pull a microfilm out of this. We're actually stepping all the way out to the back. Looks like Platikqs is being relatively careful about a possible transfer here, but as soon as the angle gets awkward, there he goes for it. It was a little bit visible on the silhouette, the head turn behind the Soji there, but because of the angle, it's pretty easy to say Platikqs just wasn't looking for it, and Lazybear gets away with that cleanly. Minute and 30 seconds left to play, and still only the one mission completion, but having green microfilm in pocket is very nice.
Yep, and Tayen is definitely one of those venues where you can get a lot of mission progress done very, very quickly. We pick up a contact right here, so we're halfway done, and we have one microfilm done. So the question is just how do we finish? If we can pick up a free bug, that's great. We probably don't want to go to center statues late, but we still have plenty of options here. We could even just take a purloin.
We could indeed. Very good contact, too. Only lets off a pair of lowlights. Under a minute to play now. Bug on the way in is exactly the play. Lazybear now just needs to get this microfilm back into this blue book. Already has it done. under the cover of the ambassador. The book has gone away. The mission countdown is running, and there is no indication from Platikqs that he wants to take the shot, but gets caught on the conversation on the way through. That could have been the moment, but Platikqs doesn't pick up on it.
Wow, that could have blown it all
Lazybear
right
picks
there.
up a fifth.
Yeah, Lazybear has to feel really, really lucky that time was running down when he did that instead of, in the middle of the game there, because just like Platikqs did on Pub at the end there, that could have been a hard tell.
It was a hard tell. It was very easily shootable if Platikqs saw it, but even if he did, it wasn't in time. And Platikqs on the spy side yet to get on the board in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And we're coming down to it now. 5-0 Lazybear. He has his foot on the gas, and he doesn't want to take it off. If he can put this away, then... I mean, again, we've seen crazy comebacks happen, but this would be impressive. Very, very impressive, especially given the form that Lazybear has shown throughout this entire tournament.
Platikqs with an early green time ad from the back, and you can tell by Lazybear's sniper that he did not see it. Early 51% on the flirt as well.
Yep, so Platikqs is probably going to try the same game plan as Lazybear. Just pick up mission progress where you can, take the hidden stuff, and hope that Lazybear isn't on top of crediting you with the various missions, such as
a bug here, and indeed he does. Ambassador slips right on by us. Very textbook Tayen bug right there from Platikqs.
Yeah, completely invisible. So hard to credit that. That's basically a free bug. You couldn't have done it any better.
Oh, and then the ambassador steps in right next to us, so we have to take the talk. Luckily, seduction target is literally right next to us, and we're able to hit a second green as well. So already 2 missions done with just under 3 minutes left to play.
And you notice that we've picked Small Man as our seduction target. I'm assuming that was intentional, just to make sure that Small Man is in play and not one of the cast members, because you always want that Small Man suspicion on Tayen.
Absolutely.
So we're ticking down now to 2.5 minutes. We have our bug already done, probably for free. We have our flirt done. So in the same place as Lazybear last game, we just need 2 more missions to get done and plenty of time to do it.
Banana bread.
Contact comes off.
Yep, and Small Man splits.
5 lowlights on the board. I think one may have come beforehand, but either way, 5 there are with over 2 minutes to play and 1 mission to do. It's either got to be center statue, a pair of fingerprints, or a hardtail.
Yeah, I think Platikqs is in great shape, though. It doesn't look like we have a ton of suspicion here.
Could be the late Purloin, but Platikqs decides not to.
No, we're going to side statues here, which is interesting. I guess Platikqs thought that center statues would just be too suspicious.
Could easily be. Goes for the swap instead. It was right visible while it was going off. Does Lazybear know this? The highlight comes off, but it needs to be more than a highlight as the mission win counts down. And finally, Platikqs finds himself on the board.
So that was so cheeky, because on Tayen, through the Shojis, red Purloin has the same fate as a green Purloin. A swap. So unless you know exactly what's going on, if someone does a red swap there, it's hard to credit it. If you're not entirely on top of it, it looks just like a green, and it's so hard to see who could have done it.
Yeah, I think pretty clearly had it down to 2. You could see all the lowlights flying off the shelves at the end there. But missions were done by that point, so having it down to 2 is not enough. Platikqs finds his first win. It's 5-1, stepping into library.
Boy, did he need that. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just get this thing underway in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Lazybear on the spy side as Smallman, but this is not one of Smallman's most powerful maps.
Except for one thing. His time out on library is so powerful with how fast it is. You can get in to a pad, just fire off a time ad and keep on walking as if you never even stopped.
Well, Lazybear decides to do that with the flirt instead for an early 51% and stepping right away.
Yep, and library is pretty much the polar, well, not the polar opposite of Taiyan, but it's so different. Everything is so open. You have so much distance to travel, and it's a 5 of 4 instead of 5 of 8, instead of a 4 of 8.
Lazybear now stepping into conversation with the seduction target once more, looking for a 2 flirt and gets it. We have seen so many 2 flirts this match.
Now, these players on the green percentages are stellar. It's actually kind of intimidating watching. So we're idling in this conversation here with our seduction target. I mean, Lazybear, as we've seen, he can do all sorts of things on his spy side. Any predictions for what we're going to see from this game?
Probably some sort of hard microfilm transfer, probably a bug coming in somewhere. And
Yep,
I'm gonna predict Lazybear's gonna win it.
That's bold. You'll notice that Platikqs is marking books.
That is true. Does get a fingerprint off of this one, though.
Yep, but no highlight. I know Platikqs isn't quite a hard highlight low light player either, but not sure that we pushing for that fingerprint.
Well, book goes right back where it came from as we step into the double agent's conversation, picking up a contact. Double agent steps away right afterwards as well, so that could be very useful depending on Platikqs' positioning, but not doing anything risky with it. 5 low lights, and that's all we're going to take, but we get the bug out of it as well.
Yep, it was completely off camera, but Platikqs did come over and see the sort of stuttering as we left the conversation circle, so I don't know how much suspicion we might have picked up for that.
Enough for a highlight at the very least, as Lazybear hanging out at the front windows, eyeing up the party, waiting to see what's on the plate next, but Platikqs might be onto something here.
It seems like it, yeah. I mean, we have 3 missions done with 150 yet to go, but we have a highlight, and I think it's a pretty hard one. So it's going to be difficult to see how we get done with this at this point.
Bit of a briefcase redirect coming out of that conversation.
Yep, but we didn't get rewarded for it, unfortunately. So we're standing here at the window pad, trying to eye down the party, figuring what we're going to do next. But I honestly don't know what the options are.
Ambassador hasn't had his hands on too many things. Lazybear trying to angle himself to be in a position to grab this briefcase when it goes down. Now finally it does, but I think Lazybear is going to have to move before. Now he just hangs out at the window pad for a very long time, goes for the briefcase that he had set himself up for, picks up the fingerprint and puts it right on down. That's 4 missions done, 1 to go, with a minute left to play.
Yeah, but now what do? We get the center statues. I feel like we're going to get shot. If we take a purloin and we don't green it, if Platikqs is on top of it, we might get shot. I'm not really sure what our options are here.
It's gonna be purloin from behind the pillar, but the problem is we're smallmen, so Toby has to go for the kneel. The list is gone. Platikqs, does he see it? He does! The shot comes off with 2 seconds left, and Platikqs finds his second.
I mean, I respect the play from Lazybear. He had to do something, but Platikqs was just all over it.
Yeah, absolutely. A difficult situation to find yourself in as the spy. Does what he can. It's not quite enough. And now Platikqs is starting to claw his way back into this match, sitting up on the spy side of library in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yep, so we've got a bit of momentum here. 5-2, I believe, is the current score. But still a big hill to climb. We just have to keep taking it. I mean, pardon the sports cliches, but we have to take it one game at a time, not get too ahead of ourselves, and just do what we can.
Especially against an opponent like Lazybear, who's been on such an incredible run. Platikqs steps into conversation with his seduction target early for yet another green flirt for 51%, and a very early fingerprint off a drink take, which could be huge going forward.
Definitely. I mean, that's great. Again, doesn't look. I don't know if Lazybear has noticed that. If Lazybear is on top of it, but it's so hard to see that early fingerprint, especially.
There was a briefcase available as well if Platikqs was feeling particularly aggressive, but didn't wind up happening.
Nope, and that's
Flirtation
probably for the
cooldown
best.
has now expired. Second flirt, another 2 flirt. Platikqs and Lazybear both really on top of these green tests.
I kind of wish we had been tracking the green flirt percentage in this match because I feel like it might be
I
close to
think
100%.
it's been all but one.
That's absurd.
Difficult fingerprint doesn't hit it.
The green test fails us when we need it the most.
Green tests are actually a little bit harder when you're going for difficult fingerprints, not because of any mechanical reason, just because it looks different and it spooks people. Picking up a timeout at the front windows as well, hitting the green test on that one.
Yeah, and again, it doesn't look like we've been noticed at all for it yet. No highlights or lowlights coming off. Looks like we got away with that time match for free.
Does indeed look like it. Goes for basically a shot to nothing reverse drive-by bug, hoping the ambassador will loop around the conversation, but he doesn't. It was basically invisible anyways, so may as well try it, but it does not take.
Yeah, Lazybear swung over just at the end there, but I don't think we were seeing it at all, so good shot for free. We'll take it.
In conversation with a double agent now. Very full conversation. It's a pretty good time for it. There's another pretty full
here.
conversation as well. Platikqs takes a low light.
We got rewarded for idling here.
Contact comes off and immediately steps away into center statues. This could be huge with the low light coming off.
Yeah.
Does Lazybear know he's not bumping him back up? There it is. It's just neutral light though.
Yeah, if you're Platikqs, I mean, it's hard to say what you think just happened. You might think that you're highlight, but even so, if so, it's just for a rote highlight for statues, and we twitched for a little bit, but move on. Wasn't seen, so we're good. We're good.
That's a big save from Lazybear, though. That could have been disastrous.
Yeah, even so, though, it's hard to see how much suspicion we could possibly have, given that we were just bumped up that one time. So, if I'm a betting man, and I might be, Platikqs looks like he's in great shape here. I think Platikqs might be taking this one.
It could very well be. Minute and 45 left to play. We've got 3 missions and a fingerprint done. Gonna need to find a hardtail somewhere, but that's the way of SpyParty.
Yep, the ambassador's coming right by us. It'd be so easy to take a bug path here.
Yeah, this could definitely work, especially if we can catch Lazybear on a rotation. Platikqs not taking it, though.
Nope, looks like we might take this briefcase.
Absolutely will. Barely wins the race for it as well. On our way for the return. The fingerprint is done. All we need is a hardtail.
Yep, we picked up a highlight
for the briefcase. Not bad bouncing. It was a little bit. It got a little bit spooky there at the end, but still pretty good, all things considered. Ooh, ambassador!
Oh, that must have been so tempting.
It must have been. Platikqs not taking it, though, probably wisely, as Lazybear was right there. The swap comes off. It's blinking. I think Lazybear saw it blinking, but he didn't. He just saw the swap, takes the wrong shot, and Platikqs somehow making this work.
Those red Platikqs and his red swaps are 2 for 2 right now.
Oh my god, I was so sure he saw the blinky.
I was too, but I guess he just saw the fade, the last fade there, and looked like a green. Wow.
The timing is so perfect for Platikqs. Looking back at it, yeah, he swung away just for a second and came back to see the last fade. Brutal timing for Lazybear, but Platikqs After going down the first 5 games, has fought back for 3 in a row.
Yeah, and Plastic saying in chat that was an intentional red. We have some galaxy brain plays going on right here in this game, and it's fantastic to watch.
I love it so much. Lazybear now on the spy side, looking to stop the bleeding and put this set to bed. Plastics with all the momentum, but still a deficit. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, but you hate to be in this position as Spy on Modern. Probably the most difficult map to win on Spy side.
Absolutely, and having lost 3 in a row, not where you want to be as Lazybear. Picks up a very early delegate from the bar, immediately sends the twin out to the bar with a huge rush. This could be an amazing play because Plastics is highlighting for bar people, and Lazybear didn't get one.
This is so cheesy. The only question is whether the delegate comes off in time, just because of the rush there. But if this works, this is probably free, and we probably don't get any suspicion for it whatsoever.
Little bit of an odd redirect coming into conversation with the seduction target, but does hit yet another green test flirt for 51%.
As is tradition. And here we go. Let's see if the purloin comes off. And it does.
There's the purloin. For such an early delegate, it took so long to get off. It looked like it might not actually, but it does wind up happening. No reaction from Plastics yet.
I mean, Twin, who just took the list, picked up a highlight for that, but I don't see any other highlights or lowlights coming off from that. It looks like Twin is the only one that Plastics sure was involved in that purloin.
If you're highlighting for bar, this is the moment where everyone gets low-lit, but it's not happening for Plastics. The 2 flirt comes off yet again for Lazybear.
Alright, well, I've changed my mind. Lazybear is in fantastic shape here, and unless he's caught doing a hard tell, he's probably has this game in the bag, because that purloin was incredible. The cheese worked perfectly.
That is such a beautiful start from Lazybear. Gets a fingerprint off of a green book as well and steps away from it. Lazybear in a commanding position right now. Has to keep the momentum going though and put this to bed because it's very easy to get too far behind on the clock on this map.
Absolutely. We're down to 2 minutes already, and with 2.5 missions done. I mean, we're still in pretty good shape, but as you just said, we can't let time get away from us. That's such a big problem on Modern in general.
Second fingerprint coming from the bar. A very nice little pickup from Lazybear because drink purloins, even bar purloin, not purloins, drink fingerprints are some of the most difficult to credit. Contact coming off. Just one more mission needed. 4, 5 lowlights. This is such a good position for Lazybear.
Yeah, we have so many options too. We could just go statue to statue. We could find a cheeky bug. We could even just do a cheeky swap right in Plastic's face and dare him to shoot.
Minute and 20 still to play. Inspects or a hard tell is all Lazybear needs with no highlight.
And look at him staring down the party here, trying to pick out his next play. Looks like we've decided on something.
It's the bug! It's a beautiful angle! There's the hand at the back, though, snaps back in! Plastics! He had the moment! He doesn't see it! And Lazybear picks up the spy side of Modern for match point.
Wow. That could have blown it all right there. He had that game in the bag, but had Plastic seen that hand sticking out, that could have been it right there.
It was,
that was so close.
Perfect angle for it, but because of Duke's idle position, the way that hand snaps back behind him just was a little bit visible. Luckily, Plastic's not looking for it because that could have been disaster, but Lazybear gets himself to 6.
And he needed that. Oh, he was so thankful when he got that match point in his pocket there.
And Lazybear has been playing very well. So has Platikqs, although the score is not favoring him. Platikqs started to pick it up in the latter half of the set. Is it too little too late as Lazybear is already on the finish line? Platikqs needs a spy win on Modern to stay alive in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
This is it. Platikqs stepping in here as Boots. Looks like chasing our seduction target to start here. Platikqs has to be so nervous here.
Opening things up the textbook way with an early flirt, although not a green test this time. Finally missed one. It's 34%.
I'm going to say that this is an example of the nerve showing through because given how strong they've been on the green test thus far, it's a rare misstep.
Second white flirt of the match. Now in conversation with the double agent, looking to see if the rest of the party will start talking. It's not a terrible time for it, but it's not great either.
Nope, and we're going to step away and not take the banana bread there, which is fine. You still have plenty of time left, and banana bread, assuming the double agent cooperates, is fairly easy to get on Modern.
In general, you don't want to give up low lights too early for it either.
Yep, definitely true. Looks like we're going to pick up the delegate here. Pretty standard opening here thus far from Platikqs.
Indeed, picks up a delegate and back into conversation with the seduction target. There's the green flirt we were looking for, 77% on that. 3 minutes to play.
Yep, you don't hate your position here if you're Platikqs, but you have to start getting something done, and you have to get a hardtail done too, because with 5 of 8, you have to get a lot done, including at least one very obvious hardtail, and it's tough to go for those, but if you're going to win, unless you pick up an awesome frame, you have to go for that hardtail. And looks like we're going to step in here, though, with the double agent, maybe hoping to take a banana bread.
We've come back once more, staring down the rest of the party, waiting for the opportune moment to utter the banana bread. But it hasn't come yet. We're sending off Mrs. H as a delegate, but it immediately expires, so no purloin going to be happening as of yet. Going for a difficult fingerprint off the briefcase, and hits it too. That could be big.
Absolutely. The green tests are back in Platikqs' favor.
The clock,
the problem is that...
however, is not.
Yeah, exactly. And even a green fingerprint, a lot of snipers, if they just see you pick up a briefcase, will automatically credit you with 1 print. So it's tough. If you have someone like Lazybear who's super on top of things, you might be in better shape, but even so. We pick up a time ad, though. Green time ad. Doesn't look like it's been noticed yet. No reaction.
Yeah, much needed time ad from Platikqs as the clock was definitely running down and no mission completions yet. Now we finally get one as we step in to finish up the flirt, but 2 minutes and 10 seconds to play even with the time ad. This is not looking great for Platikqs.
No, we still have so much left to do. It's almost like we've let this party get away from us, and you hate this on Modern. It's so easy to underestimate how big the venue really is, and just waste so much time walking back and forth and not getting mission progress done.
Platikqs cannot enter this conversation and not contact again. There is just no time, but he knows it's not a great time for it. Everyone starts moving as soon as he arrives, and he's just sitting in conversation again. It's the 3rd time he's been here. Finally, the contact comes off.
I mean, you have to. At this point, you're so desperate for mission progress, you have to just take that banana bread. And, it could have been worse, but it's also not great. You let off so many lowlights from that.
Lets off another 4 lowlights now. Over half the party lowlit. It's down to 6, and we only have 2.5 missions out of 5. This is a terrible position for Platikqs, except for the fact that he's managed to get himself as one of the lowlights.
Yeah, but what do we do with this? We still have so much stuff to do and only 1 minute to go. So we either have to rush a bunch of stuff down, including some very obvious hardtails,
It's another
Or we have to
time
frame
ad.
somebody.
Another green time ad for another 45 seconds on the clock.
Yep, I can't tell if this has been noticed yet. It doesn't seem like it. Lazybear hasn't really been reacting to either of these time ads.
Platikqs back in the same conversation again. He has to think he's top suspect here. He saw the laser flip over him and must have thought it was a highlight. Little does he know, all he has to do is finish missions, but only has 1:10 left. The time is so bad.
Yeah, I don't know what he's thinking here. You have to rush something.
Goes for the reverse drive-by bug. It doesn't take under a minute after 2 time ads. Still a terrible position on the clock. Platikqs just has to go, but he doesn't know it.
I think though you can get a fingerprint here, you can get inspects on it, and you can just swap. I think you can still finish. But we're just stepping out here to the thing. We're time adding again. This is not what you need to do.
Ad. I think Lazybear knows. Yeah, he saw it. Finally caught Platikqs on the time ad.
Oh no.
It's down to 2, and Platikqs has gone from a perfect position to an impossible one.
We're in so much trouble now. Unless Twin does something to get himself shot, we are in serious, serious trouble.
Fingerprint from the blue bookcase and pulls out the book. This is very suspicious behavior from Platikqs.
Yeah, and down to 2, Lazybear has to be all over this. I mean, the camera shake from Lazybear showing maybe a little bit of frustration, but no matter what happens here, either Platikqs does something to finish or
I think he either had to hit that time ad before the beeps or had to hit a green. Another time ad comes off, another green. But Lazybear's not going to let it happen. The shot comes off, and that is the match. Lazybear takes it 7-3.
Wow, that was a crazy set. Lazybear played incredibly, but so did Platikqs. And just to point out, Platikqs has in fact doubled Lazybear's losses in the entire Summer Cup from this one match.
It took 4 time ads to finally take a bullet.
I think Platikqs could have brought that one back. He had the options. If he knew that he was low lit and taken advantage of it, I think we could have gotten that one done. But so hard to second guess after the fact, especially watching from our view.
Absolutely. Platikqs taking as many games off of Lazybear as he's lost the entire tournament so far. But it is still not enough. Lazybear goes through to the semifinals against Crazy Kaylee.
Not to go into another cliche, but this truly is the unstoppable force, meaning the immovable object. I'm looking forward to seeing this match so much.
I think Lazybear in this case being the force, and Crazy Kaylee being the unstoppable object. Lazybear has been on a massive tear, a huge run, beautiful spy play, just really taking it to people. But Crazy Kaylee, the sniper that nothing gets by.